Amrinder. Hello.
Hello from the other side.
Hi.
So, since yesterday, since I got I think the infection again,
Mm.
and my ear has been buzzing, and the whole planet seems to be rotating for me. Um, and I have some roles and responsibilities to play, like right now, with
Mm.
all of the things happening. Um, there's a there's a move happening inside of me to keep myself leveled in the center or balanced in the center
Mm.
and not look into the future or what can happen, or it does happen sometimes, and sometimes um, it doesn't, like the attention goes away from the center. And I do see that there is uh, there is fear in my heart right now. I can feel it. But so far it's not bothering me. Like, it's there. I'm seeing everything what's happening because it has happened with me before. I kind of know, but still there is a there is fear here. Anything else I can do except trying to be with it and staying centered.
You said that there's an effort or there is a priority to keep the attention in the center and not be, I guess, shaken by the fear or the actual situation, of the physical ailment. What happens when the attention goes off center? Where does the attention go, and what happens? Have you noticed?
It goes towards the ear,
Mm.
and the buzzing noise that's happening inside of it right now, it goes towards it, and then it also goes towards some of the future happenings that can happen. And
Like I can die of this.
not dying for now, but somewhere there, yes.
Mm.
uh, and because of uh, the chakras that's happening. Sorry, what was the question again?
What happens when the attention goes off center?
Yeah, I look into the symptoms of what's happening and what can be done to fix the issue,
Mm-hmm.
and um, and what else can be done,
Mm-hmm.
because I cannot be working on it 24/7, right? It eventually it will fix itself, or a medicine has to be taken, or whatnot. But the time that I'm not looking into it, what can be done at that time also is being looked into.
So when I'm not thinking about it, what can I do to do something about it? Is that your question? Or
No, it's the question is that, um, with all of the things happening around me, like
Mhm,
with the marriage uh, responsibilities, and this retreat, and the ear infection, and yoga and everything,
mhm.
um, I'm trying to stay centered and not worry too much about what's happening. Um, Anything else I can do to keep myself calm, because I can feel that there is heaviness in the heart
Mm,
area. There is worry, maybe anxiety, but it hasn't come to the surface level yet.
mhm.
It's more internal. And well, staying centered, not worrying about it, and sleeping a lot. I slept a lot last night. Anything else I could be doing to keep myself calm?
I appreciate your question. However, when I process what is being asked and what is going on, it seems like that staying centered might be a means to an end and not an end in itself. So I might be using staying centered as a way to not lose it, not lose it in anxiety, not lose it in fear, not lose it in worry, because something is so scared of losing it that it is using staying centered as a method or as a technique to avoid it because of fear. Could that be the case?
I haven't seen that so far. No.
If that's not the case, then I would say staying centered is pretty healthy. Taking meds for whatever is happening to your ear, um, like taking practical steps to work towards healing it, would be healthy. And what else can be done? I feel you're doing it all, and and as you said already, sleeping a lot, taking it easy, and just not be afraid of being afraid. That's something that I feel to point again, even though that might not be the case. But um, let the centeredness be fearless enough for the fear and the anxiety and the worry to show up in it. Because if it's right in the surface and it's creating heaviness in the body, it's ready to show up. It's just a matter of you as the centeredness opening up enough to it to provide it the room to be open. Because it's like a vomit. It feels very uncomfortable. I try to hold it so I don't have to vomit, but it has to happen. And once it happens, I feel good instantly. It's like, thank God for that. But the vomiting experience is not pleasant at all. It's the experience that the dread of that experience keeps me from letting myself vomit. But that 2 or 3 minute vomiting experience, however unpleasant it might be and out of control, like it's like just a tsunami of undigested stuff just being thrown out of my mouth without any control. There's no off button then. And that's what the fear is of, that what if it doesn't stop? And then once it is done, there is definitely gratitude that I let all this stuff out. So maybe finding a safe space. You say you're in a retreat right now. So if possible, maybe using today as a safe space and time to let yourself lose it, whatever that means. It may show up in the form of crying or shouting or whatever. Just letting yourself feel whatever is at the surface and not be centered for a change. And I appreciate you sharing this. It's not easy to open up like that. So thank you.
Thank you.
The thing with the arisings, once there is recognition of the centeredness, a tsunami of the stuff that has been running in the system, the limiting stuff, the illusory stuff. We call it an illusion because it's fleeting. It comes, it plays, and it goes. It's not permanent. It's not ever present. However, it is experienced to be real, sometimes more real than what the real is pointed to be. And it is still needed in a way to experience these arisings in their mightiness, in their intensity. And yes, sometimes like till some point, the system might not be ready for it. And that's when the muscle of centeredness and detachment and observing without judgment and witnessing can be cultivated. And there may come a time when one feels powerful enough to let the system feel the powerlessness of itself in full capacity. And it's not pleasant. That's the point. They are all hurt feelings. They are all shameful feelings. They're all the interpretations of events in life, this life or any other life, that might have gotten stored in this body mind mechanism. They are the stuff that didn't get processed in a wholesome way, and that's why they are here. So when they arise, they are going to feel unwholesome. They are going to feel scary and unhealthy and unenlightened. And it seems like we have gone 10 steps back. So what's the point of meditating when I'm feeling worse than before? I am feeling worse than before because I am able to feel more than before. So it's not that all these things were not here before. It's just that the system is mature enough and open enough to receive all the hidden, so-called hidden stuff now, and with maturity. So I can run away, and then there may come a time when running away in itself is seen to be the suffering. And then the stopping happens. And that's the surrender. That's the surrender, that whatever is arising, there is no choice but to let it. And it may show up in any way. It may show up in the form of anger or shouting or crying, or and there are ways to be with them in a way that it doesn't harm anybody or doesn't overly affect the surroundings. When that phase does come for the process, maybe find a empty room or take a day off and go to a place just by yourself and just hug a tree, punch a tree. Don't hurt yourself, but just do what's needed to fully feel what's in there. And being sure of the fact, in the knowing of the fact that what you are is untouched by all of it. Because this is all the content playing, however dynamically it might be playing. So we love the peaceful phases and we are scared of the scary phases or the emotional phases. Yet the peaceful phase and the scary phase are both in the content. So when I as this perceiver, with some identity mixed into it, fully engage in the peaceful phase, is like, yes, it's finally here and it can never leave. And then you wake up the next morning and it's like, oh, peace is nowhere to be found. But did you go anywhere? You were the one feeling the peace, and now you are the one feeling the absence of peace because other arisings are present, which are successfully the center of attention. Are you the attention, or are you within which the arising and the attention operate? And knowing this experientially somehow gives the power of that compassionate wisdom and allowance that we were talking about yesterday, that unconditional allowance, that worry is allowed, anxiety is allowed, fear is allowed, anger is allowed, and not in a way that I go to a person and punch the person. Well, then it's going to have its consequences. But there are ways to allow oneself to feel it and to let it out, maybe shout in a pillow or punch a pillow or just tear away a pillow. That's comparatively harmless. Crying may need to happen because there is a lot of unconscious, unhealed feelings stored in the system. And unless and until they are processed, the peace that we so love will be veiled again and again. Not because the stored stuff is bad and it is hiding the good. It's just taking a chance to show up, to be peaceful itself. So the unhealed stuff, as the flow of life goes, as the nature of things go, as if we hurt our body is self-healing. It knows how to heal itself. Whether we put an ointment on it or not, when I get a cut, it heals itself with time. And same is with those stored feelings. When there is enough space within the system, those feelings can now slowly show up and take their turn into self-healing. And them being healed, then more stuff can show up. And then until the reservoir is all healed within itself, it's not that it's veiling the peace, that why does it do that? It's just that it is using the same peace to heal itself. And what role do we play? It seems like it's all happening to me. And it does feel real in experience that it is happening to me. So my role is just to surrender, to control it whenever needed. It is possible to control it. We have been doing it so far. So if I am in an office meeting or if I'm sitting with a gathering and something comes up, it is very possible to control it. But then there is a time and space that you can offer yourself to let it show up. Maybe journal, maybe talk to yourself, that's where shadow work and therapy comes in. And all these tools are helpful to understand the mechanism, if nothing more. And the fear of letting these arisings play out in their full intensity is itself an arising. So the fear is that I'm going to die. This feeling is going to kill me. And it feels that way. It does feel that way. And there may come a time or an allowing in the system that once that fear arises, so far I've been trying to turn my attention away, that okay, I'm not ready. I am going to stay detached and just watch the fear there. as separate from me, which it is. But there may come a time when the attention may turn towards the fear and not be afraid of that. Because the fear is fear because it is afraid. It itself is afraid of something. When there is identification with the fear, it seems like and it feels like ever so truly that I am afraid. But when there is enough distance between the fear and the one that is witnessing the fear, and when I am the one witnessing and not the fear, then there may come a point when the attention really turns towards the fear, the anxiety, and it is allowed to, and it seems like it's destructing me. It's killing me. And it does feel like that. But something will be able to let it. Let it take you to the other end of that anxiety, of that fear. And that power, that compassion, and that's funny that the word power and the word compassion here can be used synonymously, because it's really compassion towards the fear that is going to allow the fear to be fearful. And until that time has come where it can be done that way, staying centered and turning the attention away and remembering who I really am in these arisings is a beautiful, beautiful way to mature into yourself, to ground into your true presence, to become ready as a system to allow. And if I find myself, my vantage point to be within the content, so when I am this person and the sense of presence is not experientially available in a moment, then really just remembering that the content is a big flux of movement of life within which everything is flowing of its own accord and not of my accord. So I don't get to decide, or I don't get to control any of it. And it may sound like a very bad news, as if, then what do I do? But if one looks at it, the same realization from a different angle, it's actually the freedom that I don't need to do anything because I'm not doing it. Nobody's doing it. It's just happening. And it can provide such a relief to the system, to the me that is struggling to deal with it, with something that's arising, or trying to fix something that's arising, understanding that whatever is arising and the very me that's trying to do whatever it's trying to do is all a part of this unfathomable flow of life, can really be just a so let's see what happens, because that's been the case so far anyway. knowing this also comes with a recognition qualitatively that you're safe because it's life. Everything is life. You are life. The arising itself is life. It's like the river flowing and the organisms in the river are flowing, and the mud and the wood and the stones and everything in the river is flowing with the river. It's all one movement. And when this is realized, even intellectually, when it starts making sense, the trying to swim upstream weakens. One starts to get tired more easily of going upstream, of going against the flow. And that tiredness, when is ultimate, there is a surrender to wanting to go upstream, and one can just float in the flow. And the one trying to swim upstream and the one giving up and the one flowing with the flow is also within the flow. So there is no separate me swimming upstream or deciding to surrender. It is all within the flow. So I don't surrender. I am surrendered as the flow of life flows in such a way that that happens. So then what does that mean? I don't even have to do the surrender. I don't have to try to surrender. There is no need for that. Because life is taking care of itself. And I, as this human body, mind organism, is a part of it. Is included within it. So then it's not wishful thinking at a point when one starts to feel that all is well. No matter what happens, all is well. It can be labeled as, well, wishful thinking. It can be labeled as faith in God or faith in life, faith in the universe. But really, it's a knowing. It's really a knowing that whatever happens, it's within the flow of life. And then from that place, taking whatever steps that are needed practically to improve the quality of experience is not just going to be more productive, but it's going to be with the quality of non-attachment to outcome. So starting from the end, starting from the acceptance of whatever is half the work done. And if it doesn't feel like there's enough space to even be aware that there is this arising, it doesn't seem like an arising. I am the arising. When that is the case, then there are tools to help outwardly that one can seek. And they are necessary also at that point. Is it possible to forget this me? Just for this moment. Is it possible to really lose the grip onto all the concepts and beliefs, all the things that I think I know, or I don't know, or I think I am, or I want to be, or I don't want to be? Even this I, is it possible to just loosen the grip of that and just relax? It doesn't need to disappear. Just the holding on to all these constructs and concepts is enough. This that is aware of the construct. Is this a construct? Can this be conceptualized? Is this a habit or a pattern? Is this looking to understand anything or to know anything? Does the concept of safety and unsafety apply here? Can it ever be not safe? even if the whole construct of the person falls away right now or dismantles right now, does it affect this in any way? Does this need to be detached from anything? Does this require to be centered? This is what you are already. Beyond the me construct. Know yourself to be this. And from this knowing, the me construct is like a house of cards that can be arranged in any way. Until next one. See you soon.